Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of MTG Arena Run. Today we are going to be taking a look at Alchemy. Basically, it's about looking at all the recent card changes here. And there's actually been quite a lot of card changes that I really want to investigate. I actually wanted to do a series before investigating the card changes that were done to the dungeon decks, but honestly, I did a few tests. They were really horrible. So it kind of just made a super casual deck slightly below average, but it just made a casual deck a better casual deck. It didn't make it really any better. But we're gonna go over all the different cards that did get changed more or less, and because they're all mostly on zombies. I think there are a few non-zombie cards that did get changed, and we're actually gonna test them out just to see how well they pan out. So nothing too spectacular for this episode. It's been a long week for me, so I kind of want to take it easy a bit. So actually, let's just search out the Alchemy Rebalance cards, and we can talk about them from here. So first off, Cobbled Lancer. Originally, it had an exile cost of 3 in the blue. They now kind of dropped it to 1 in the blue. Still, I kind of tried it a bit. It's still super underwhelming. It's still a tree. It's still a vanilla tree that you have to with a weird cost in a sense. Instead of costing more mana, it just costs a card in your yard and a cheaper mana cost. The extra draw card not really that great here. Yeah, it's nice that it's cheaper, but the card itself hasn't been very still doesn't quite pack a punch. So this is pretty much a no. We got Stitch Assistant, which is 1 in the blue for 2/1 exploit. The the change here is that it costs cheaper. Originally, it was 2 in the blue. You now scry 2 instead of scry 1, but instead of getting a 3/2, it is now a 2/1. So they kind of adjusted its place. I guess it's fine in this. It is kind of fine in the sense, but you're still spending an additional resource to draw a card. If it were now, it's good if you get an exploit train going, but even then, the exploit train still not that exciting. We are gonna be doing some exploiting though, just not so much, but Stitch Assistant's kind of a no here. Cosmos Charger is one of the non-zombie cards that got changed. Actually, pretty decent. It has a much cheaper foretell cost, so that one's a bit. So that one is a bit different. It actually costs cheaper as well. It used to be 3 in the blue. It now foretells for blue instead of 2 in the blue. So you are getting this out really cheaply. The only caveat is that it's not a 3/3 flyer anymore. It's a 3/2 flyer. Probably still better in that sense. Falcon Abomination. This one's the biggest change. Yeah, the cost is the same, but having this as a flash trick is actually pretty decent. It's actually a very nice trick in combination with Champion of the Parish. That's kind of like a permanent +2/+2 buff, and it's still a flash blocker, so pretty decent if there. Also, flying can still be relevant here. I am running 3 copies of this Pretty solid there. Aldrin got the Cosmos. This one also got changed. I think it's a bunch of stat changes in terms of power and toughness and some of the abilities. Yeah, the bird side is now 3/3 instead of 2/3. The Aldrin's ability reveals 1 extra card, so okay, pretty decent. Hobbling Zombie. This one was a very good change. Instead of a 3 mana 2/2 Death Touch, it's now a 2 mana 2/2 Death Touch. I'm actually running a few copies of this. This one's actually still quite relevant there. Sepulchre Ghoul, originally a 2/1, now a 2/2, still underwhelming. I still wouldn't. I still wouldn't really run it. Activate only once each turn is kind of a killer for this card. Dead Priest of Merkel. This one It cuts out the mana cost for creating a black skeleton token, so that one's pretty decent. I believe it's also now a 3/3 instead of a 3/2. Yeah, it's got a buff there as well. That said, I am not exactly running copies of this. At 4 mana, it's still a bit pricey in the top end. It is very good if you're running this on some sort of skeletal swarming deck. I believe it fits much better there. Skull Scab, this one is the interesting one. It loses the non-token clause, so you can exploit your decaying zombies to get non-decaying zombies. I actually am running a few copies of this. Actually has some pretty good synergy with cards like, say, Shambling Gas, Hobbling Zombie, Archghoul of Traben. Nice emergency pit hit. Narfi also got a change here. Its cost dropped to 2, from 3 mana to 4, from 5 mana to 4 mana, instead of it loses 1 generic from its casting cost. Let's be honest. I think you would still rather just get it milled for milled and just play the snow mana. Pay the snow mana. It is more playable if you're in a pinch, but if you're at the point where you have to hard cast this, you're probably not winning. And that's pretty much it for the changes there. As far as the deck itself we're running, we cut out as far as the cards that got changed, we're running just the Hobbling Zombie, the Skull Scab, and the Falcon Abomination. Pretty much, you still want a good amount of the usual stuff. You still want copies of, say, Jadar. You still want your 4 Champion of the Parish. You still want your Shambling Gas early. You still want Deadly Disputes to help you draw more. I am running, admittedly, a removal lights build. 4 copies of Infernal Grasp. We could probably run more. I'm running 2 copies of Patient Zero because we do need ways to help assist removal. Our deck is admittedly super light on that, so we're kind of testing this out. Otherwise, I would just run more removal. Jadar now works properly, so we're definitely keeping Jadar. Archghoul of Traben is still pretty much the card draw of choice. We're running a few copies of Overcharge Amalgam. I guess I could try to make room for 1 more. But being able to have a counter aside from just Jwari Disruption is a good point. And Singleton Geralf, because sometimes you need to you need to just make them all fly. Also, Secluded Courtyard's another addition that we're running here to get us to get things through. We're also running a single copy of Otawara. This is pretty much an experiment. I've gotten several wins from this, but not too many. So I wouldn't. So this is pretty much just an experiment to see if finally if finally their alchemy changes are pushing it bet to playable, or if it's just a case of casual to below average. So we're gonna find out here. So I also note that we're running very light on lands here, but yeah, we're definitely keeping this. Secluded Courtyard and Zombie is always good. We can run out Champion. I might just run Champion, then just go for the Patient Zero later. So this might be a fellow zombie player. Yep, Shambling Gas. So we'll see if our opponent does. This could also be control, but okay, this is more likely to be zombies. Late Stitch Scoff. We will take the 2, but kind of unfortunate that we have 1 more shot to hit the land drop. We can catch our opponent by surprise with. If we can hit the Falcon Abomination, otherwise it's just Infernal Grasp. We could also just land the Patient Zero. It gives us a 3/3, a 2/2, and if they can't answer this one, the damage is still gonna stick. I would prefer to hit my land drop though, because Falcon Abomination is a bigger blowout here. Let's see if our opponent actually has removal. He took Massacre. X equals 1. So they will wipe the board. So that fair enough. I actually shouldn't have thought of I actually could have run Me Took Massacre. So that's a bit unfortunate. I don't see the point in running a Patient Zero quite yet, so we will just Blade Stitch Stop. Timing is super unfortunate for us. Missing the mana drops also more unfortunate there. And it runs their own champion of the parish into a Shambling Gas, so it's now a 2-2. Need that mana. No, we're not getting the mana, but we are getting the Hobbling Zombie, which is still gonna be kind of relevant here. Opponent also missed their land drop, so they probably holding on to quite a bit of gas. They're playing Takenuma instead of, well, yeah, I guess they wouldn't exactly have much to return. If they swing with Archghoul of Traben, now we are definitely incentivized to block. Ugh, super bad. I guess we run the Patient Zero, just give ourselves an extra blocker. We are running virtually 23 lands, so I guess that might be an issue, but I would just chalk this up to bad luck here. Yeah, I'm guessing our opponent might have another Meathook Massacre, so yeah, go for it, I guess. I could have also just blocked with the Patient Zero. They would have taken it out, but no, they're going for Fell Stinger. Still a classic. That should draw. That will draw him quite a lot of cards, so it's a bit annoying that we're. Yeah, annoying that we're still missing out on a lot of mana, but it's a good thing we didn't. You know, if we blocked, we would have lost one of our creatures. Opponent. Oh, I actually forgot about Headless Rider. Opponent is gonna go all the way out. I opted for the Skull Scab, but I guess Headless Rider is a better alternative. And we can't catch a break. So the plan is pretty much just to chump block the Headless Rider, probably block Champion. Yeah, kind of unfortunate that we're... Well, if they're attacking with that, we will be glad to block. Also unfortunate that our opponent's Meathook Massacre is live, so we're probably gonna die to that also. Yeah, I might have seen enough. Oh, yeah, missing so. Ooh, wow, we're gonna take a big hit just to make this land drop. So unfortunately, so what we can do is we can drop the Falcon Abomination, but it's kind of over. I think it's kind of over for us. Our opponent just needs to sweep their own board, and we'd still be staring down a 7/7. We probably need to explore again. Yeah. All the extra cards that they're showing. The fact that we've not been able to punish, get early aggro because of the Meathook Massacre kind of blows. Yeah, that's a good game. Yeah, got stuck on mana, can't do anything about that. But we will take note that our opponent is running a more traditional zombie build, so I don't think they've run any of the changed cards, so maybe the changes don't help that much at all. Maybe they should be buffing the other cards instead of these weaker ones. Yeah, same position again. Though I can't champion into Shambling Gas, so and opponent start starting first. That is kind of bad for us. Try again. If this keeps going on, I might just cut the patient zeros and just add 2 more lands. Unbelievable. Okay, we got another land, so we can stop. We can finally stop complaining. We will hit our Falcon Abomination timing, and that is way too fast. Okay, I know people are playing zombies, but okay, I'll take that win. Thank you very much. So that, I don't know what to say about that one. I guess you see cases of people complaining, oh, I see too much of this deck, I see too much of that deck, it's boring. We're all very sorry that we're not playing to what you want, but do we even care about what you want at that point? Just saying. Anyway, so Secluded Courtyard does answer our color needs. We are missing the 1-drop, which is sad, but well, I guess zombie. We can go Hobbling Zombie. We could go Patient 0 first, but yeah, I'll go to Hobbling Zombie first. If only because if anything happens to this, like our opponent manages to burn it somehow, we still get something out of it. Opponent has some Golden Bloodcaster. So we land our Shipwreck Marsh. I guess we run Patient 0. I don't know if our opponent... That'll be weird if our opponent blocks. If they block, so be it. We are slated in time for a proper overcharge amalgam. Oh, opponent does block. So they get a blood token, we get a zombie token that we can overcharge in a sense. So question, Vampire Socialite that we don't really care about. I'm gonna swing with the Patient. I don't think our opponent's gonna block. I'm actually would be shocked if they did. So opponent probably swings, casts something. We hit them back with the overcharge amalgam. I would love to land the Skull Scab, but we kind of have to wait on that. No real rush here. One less Florian to worry about. Okay, we definitely want... Now, we can't just keep holding Otawara right now. There is no... I could even Skull Scab right now, but what did I Skull Scab? Patient 0, probably? We'll hold up the Otawara for now. It's a singleton here because, I don't really feel the need to run Takenuma. Copies of Takenuma, and I only have space for two single blue sources, so I want 1 island. Otawara is a good fit here. Okay, opponent goes full Darren Epic here. We're not gonna... Get another overcharge amalgam, so that's actually very interesting. I probably could have also just played the land, played the Skull Scab, but Skull Scab at this point is just going to eat one. It's just going to eat one of our zombies for an actual zombie. So nope, nope, not dying anytime soon. If our opponent swings with both, I am tempted to just block with Patient 0. Another trick we can do is overcharge amalgam, but I'm probably not... We can just keep trading at this point. I don't mind taking... I don't mind taking the damage, and if our opponent does go to counter, the opponent's gonna go for it too, which is perfectly fine. See what the follow-up is. No follow-up, so we can pass. Hey, Hobbling Zombie. And so now we just play this as a land. We play an actual Hobbling Zombie that should buff up champion. And an interesting trick is that we can snipe the snipe the Hobbling Zombie, get ourselves a token, and we can skull scab it afterwards. So we're actually going to just keep punching here. I'm gonna keep offering the patient 0 at this point. Yeah, when it finally bites it. Really curious what all these other cards in our opponent's hand is. But Vile Purveyor. Yeah, we'll say goodbye to the Hobbling Zombie, but that makes champion a 4/4. And we can actually buff this up to a 6/6 as well with Skull Scab. I think our opponent running all these tap sources kind of was bad for them. Anyway, Skull Scab. Yep, opponent sees the writing on the wall. They would have to chump block with they would have to chump block with Vampire Socialite. I could have also just played the Hobbling Zombie, then the Skull Scab, but writing was very much on the wall at that point for our opponent. If any, it doesn't say much about our deck. It does say that I'm going to be concerned when I start doing the Challenger deck review for the Black-Red Vampires deck. Because if that's what I'm looking... Well, then... But let's be fair, our opponent is playing a lot of ETB tap duels, so not exact... It wasn't exactly great for our opponent. They never really hit their curve. Okay, so... Again, super awkward. 2 mana, but... I guess we can... We definitely will be running Shipwreck Marsh first. I opted not to run any Hive of the Eye Tyrant. I probably could. No, there's no need for me to have 5 swamps here. Although it is actually quite helpful in the sense that I'm not making myself vulnerable to a Town Raiser Tyrant. So that's a big bonus. So that said, we are definitely Shipwreck Marsh, Otawara. We're surviving on 2 landers is never fun. I'll be honest. I probably will recommend recommend making a cut somewhere just to add another land. We're functionally at 23, but two of them are two of them are Juari's Disruptions, 2 of them are Agadeem's Awakening. What would you cut? The Deadly Dispute is probably cuttable. You don't have to go for all 4 copies, though. The card draw plus the treasure token is very helpful. What would be helpful also is if our opponent moves on. Something is up. I'm now concerned that we might have lost our connection. Ooh, also, games go by really quickly here. I might just cut this off at the half-hour mark. Yeah, looks like our opponent disconnected. Just a public service announcement, especially for those playing on mobile. If you or even on PC, if you do the Alt F4, if you do the quick close app, that does not concede you from the game. You're basically leaving the person hanging for no good reason. The correct way to do this would be to just concede. There is no shame in conceding. Just concede properly, then close your app afterwards. If you're really It's also possible our opponent might have just thrown their phone across the table and they're now having a hard time getting back to it. Hard to say. Well, it's also possible our opponent might have been called somewhere, so it is what it is. Usually if it's at the very beginning, it's more like a dropped connection rather than a person actually. I still can't discount the possibility of a rage quit either, so it's really hard to say. It does make it hard for me to recommend playing on mobile. Though to be fair, I have a hard time recommending playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel on mobile also, only because turns can go very long that your app can actually it doesn't time out per se, but your phone can actually go on sleep mode because, man, everyone's taking so long. And that sort of thing. Speaking of which, I am overdue for a Yu-Gi-Oh episode this week. I might want to delay it a bit though because I'm kind of having a hard time getting any inspiration. I'm still deciding. I guess I could still do the Gladiators deck, though it needs a lot of help. The other Exceeds deck I bought also kind of needs help, but it is still better, right? Let's see. Okay, so if we don't have to counter any, kind of awkward that I do want to play champion right away, so we will play champion right away. This does make colors awkward, like I will not have the blue for Jawari Disruption if I need to. I will have black for Agadeem's Awakening just by playing Infernal. Oh, if our opponent's inclined, so be it. In fact, so we have a turn 3 Shipwreck Marsh into a Falcon Abomination. Curious what our opponent's deck is up to. If we go for Infernal Grasp, we can just Disruption right away. No, we can just play the Disruption, then just snipe it. Opponent is kind of signaling that they're holding up. But you know what, it's fine. We won't lose the 2 life if our opponent actually does have a Snakeskin Veil. Taking Falcon Abomination is actually not so bad for us because it does... They don't get the... Yeah, taking the Amalgam, kind of annoying, but not so much. But they do know that they... Let's see if they actually do have that counter. Snakeskin Veil. Could also be Tamio Safekeeping, but more likely to be Snakeskin Veil. Now, Classic Jadar. Probably going to be seeing actually a lot of things we could be seeing. My only concern now is that kind of have to hold back the Amalgam for the time being. Well, we're at least I'll get recovery. Sure. Now we'll let it die. We'll let it rebuild because it lets us hold back a counter. And if our opponent does nothing, it lands me plenty of options. Opponent has a very... Let's just play this now. Let's see if our opponent does have removed the Pokemon. No, they don't. We do need to start setting up mana, so we're gonna swing with the whole board. Jadar is still quite solid, though. I do understand why the zombie deck fell off the face of the earth. Too many board wipes. Opponent is forced to cast something because they are staring at lethal right now. Lethal Massacre. Oh, doesn't matter which one I take. Yeah, Overcharge Amalgam, still pretty good. I guess if they wanted to make the zombies deck top tier, I would actually drop the cost of the Amalgam. Oh wait, no. I probably would still drop the cost of the Amalgam. You're still sacrificing a creature, but I guess probably not a good idea for the zombie deck because there are too many incidental tokens. We're at the 30-minute mark. Let's do one more match. See if we we'll call this episode. Still reeling from tiredness this past week. Also of note, we are okay. So pathway and black, so we can go champion, shambling gas. So having the 1-drops really helps. Probably just played Disrupt Tenacious P. We could go all in. Now this is very likely to be green-red. Unfortunately, we don't have... I would... Oh, could also be mono-green. So we're actually going to just hold this up. We're just going to hold up the Jawari Disruption for now, then we'll probably just Skull Scab one of the gases later. Ooh, Rahilda slows that down. Yikes, not... Okay, not so great for us. We can slow it down, but that... Nope, that doesn't help. We'll let it down. I guess I could have countered it just to... So we actually now have options here. I can... The problem is first strike, so I actually want to reduce this a bit. Actually, it's fine. It's now going to be a 5-5. Opponent blocks with the P. It could play Archghoul of Traben, but I'm still holding up Disruption. I don't know how... Brutal Qatar. Oh, wow, they really are playing around it. Yeah, we'll force them to tap out because the last thing I want to do is have to deal... Although I will... Though if our opponent swings with their Hilda, I can just chump block with everything. Okay, opponent doesn't go for it. I also don't want to not cast a spell. But yeah, this does show us that we probably want to have more removal than just the 4 Infernal Grasps. The Storm Seeker. So this is a 4-3 trample, so if I block with everything, It's a very interesting proposition here. How do I... The safest way to nuke is to block with everything. Opponent will take out 2 creatures. I probably would order the Shambling Gas to be somewhere along those lines there. But no, that's fine. So, take action. We don't need that land. I am tempted to keep it. Nah, let's discard it. Not looking so great for us though. Our opponent does have... Yeah, so our so our horrible plan now depends on Falcon Abomination hitting them in the air. Opponent thankfully it's still Rahilda. Could be worse. It could have been another Werewolf Pack Leader. That's going to be a problem though. Let's see if our opponent does attack. We might just be... I will note our opponent could have stacked it on the Werewolf Pack Leader too. Let's see how our opponent attacks. No, not attacking, so we'll just go with Falcon Abomination. With the Skull Scab, which is actually quite decent. Let's launder that token. Something that lasts longer. We're gonna hit with the Abomination because that's our only realistic chance of air quotes winning. The Stormseeker number 2. Interesting to note that our opponent is not letting their Brutal Qatar flip. That would really be a big help. I'm probably just gonna chump with one of the Shambling Ghasts. Because I definitely don't... Well, opponent does nothing. I guess that's fine too. Yeah, yeah, now they have trample. Yeah, there's a reason to actually cast. So this now has double strike. Ugh. So our opponent will get 2 cards. I guess we're gonna have to let that part go. Okay, let's just cast this first before our opponent draws a card. I think I goofed up there. I forgot that we really should be casting spells. So our best goal is to snipe this one. This has trample, so this is 5 plus 8 is 13. $14, $15. We still just go down to 15. Now, one thing we could have done is actually double. We could have actually double. Oh, there's a trick we could have done. We could have double blocked the Shambling Ghasts. We could have double blocked with the Shambling Gas on, say, the Moonrage Brute because it has first strike. It would allow us to snipe Rahilda, and so opponent goes for Jadar instead of Tainted Adversary, which is actually good news for us. Unfortunately, Joy Disruption's not gonna help. We'll see how much damage we do, but it's kind of slim at this point. Yeah, we goofed up on that last one. We should have just cast the Falcon Abomination, not let it slip. It's also probably an argument of replacing some of this. Interesting, we did not run into a dragon matchup yet. I would have expected that. I would have expected that in Alchemy, no less. Anyway, so yeah, so we close that out. Very weird episode, but you know what? I can say the same thing for Alchemy. That's going to be it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, turn on notifications and whatnot. Do let me know what you ran for this event. Did anything change for you? Oh yeah, there's one card that also got changed in Alchemy. It's basically they did a rework for... They did the... What's the name of that card? It's been such a long time. Oh, they actually reworked Gitrog Horror of Java. They reworked Tybalt. They reworked Tireless Angler. No one's really talking about that. Oh, they actually reworked Vega the Watcher to give it ward. Yeah. And Town Race. Yeah, Fires of Invention. This one's the big rework, but it's mostly for historic. You guys get it back, but are you guys interested in playing that still now that it costs 5? Well, let me know. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you guys again next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.